Everyone, Jesse Morgan here from Pitchfork Penetration and my upcoming band Mauled to the Marrow. I'm going to be doing my second album review with you today, and it's going to be on Dying Fetus's Stop at Nothing. The reason why I'm going to be doing it on this specific album instead of their first one or their most recent one is because it's the first album by Dying Fetus I have ever heard or had the pleasure of picking up at the local second-hand CD store, Deja Vu Discs. The person that kind of turned me on to the band Dying Fetus is an ex-member of Diaphasia, which I was the guitarist for about 2 years until they disbanded. Now, the Stop at Nothing album is, for me, probably their best one, not just because it was the first one I ever heard, but also just because it has a lot of really good grooves in it, and just amazing tremolo work. Like I said, I'm a guitarist, so I pick up on that kind of thing. The drums were amazing. The drummer for this album wasn't their original one, I don't think. I should probably look that up later. The drummer for this one is Eric Saenga. It probably wasn't their original drummer, because they've had quite the lineup over the years. Probably roughly 7 or 8 members that have joined and gone again to do their own thing. But yes, the drummer for this did an amazing job. I remember just kind of being blown away and just kind of jaw agape listening to some of the steady blasts he did, the double kicks he held. It almost sounds like the expertise of a drum machine, but they don't use that in their recordings, so kudos to him for an amazing job at drumming. My legs would probably fall off trying to record one song. The guitaring was amazing. The overall professionalism and the accuracy on the album was astounding. I can't get over how tight the riffs were and how spot on. I mean, every professional musician probably goes to a click track or whatnot when you're recording, but the quality was just outstanding. And song-wise, they only released 8 songs for the main album. They probably have like a Japanese special release somewhere out there with like 3 or 4 extra tracks, but the main album you get only has 8 songs, and each one are very memorable for different reasons. As soon as the album kicks off with schematics, it's got like that chugging riff with the accented pinch harmonic, so it's like that typical thing. I know it sounds funny hearing it out of me, but that's it's awesome. I love the sound of that, and it just kind of catches your attention like right away. If you throw it on and forgot you pressed play for whatever reason, maybe you went and smoked a bowl and forgot you pressed play, it catches your attention right away. And then they made that video for One Shot One Kill, and that was probably a good song to make a video for. Like, it has a lot of, once again, really cool grooves, kind of headbang and wrists, something to remember, and crazy ass drumming and tremolos, and the song just never lets up for 1 minute. So excellent stuff. Institutions of Deceit, Abandon All Hope, Forced Elimination, they're far from album fillers. Like I said, they're all memorable for one reason or another. They've got grooves and hooks all the way through them, just pounding drums, shredding guitars. And that was another thing I noticed too. Like, it wasn't just random, crappy, fast, look at me, I'm a damn good guitarist type of solos. They were well placed, and they're, excellently executed and put in there at the best possible places within the song. And I don't think you get that with a whole lot of bands. They just seem to love to show off their shredding skills and how well they can solo over top of everything, and there's a lot of ego I find in bands. I'm kind of getting off topic, but it's definitely one of those things where it's like, did they just try too hard, or does this actually fit the song? And Dying Fetus's Stop at Nothing album nails it for that portion of the songs, like solo-wise. Stop at Nothing, the self-titled track, was excellent. I can't say anything bad about it, or the rest of this album, really. It's solid pretty much all the way through. Onslaught of Malice is kind of an inside joke for me, because I used to go by the name Malice in my previous band, Diaphasia, and Malicious in my black metal attempt with Nick Legion from Fallen Legion. We tried to do a black metal band called Lilith Spawn, but different personal issues and careers kind of got in the way, so we just kind of put that to the wayside. And we could never really find a drummer. I don't know what is with this city, but we could never find drummers that want to do black metal. But moving on from that, the last song on here, Vengeance Unleashed, is really, really good. They don't end with kind of a fade out, forgettable song. They end with like a punishing, murderous kind of just riff after riff of amazingness. And I can't say anything bad about this album. It's just, whenever I just kind of think it over in my head, I can't think of one thing that I would change about this album. And I don't know if you could hear that, but that's my neighbors upstairs being really loud and probably drunk at like 4 in the afternoon. Anywho, there's a couple more things that I want to say before moving on from this album review, is that I have actually heard the previous albums, like Purification Through Violence, Destroy the Opposition, Killing on Adrenaline. I have heard their EP with that 4 original songs and a couple of covers called Grotesque Impalement. That's really good. I know a lot of people, when they mention Dying Fetus, are all about the Grotesque Impalement EP and how they remastered it and how they love just those 4 tracks, and it's their favorite album, or EP, sorry, release probably would be what they'd say, of Dying Fetus. It is really good. It is, it's definitely worth checking out, buying, and then as goes with any band that are really good, if you like the music, you love listening to it, buy it. Go to your local HMV or your local secondhand disc shop, pick up the disc, support the band, buy the merch. I mean, we're not all millionaires. We don't have like just random thousands of dollars stuffed in our pocket, or we could just go on a band buying spree. But when you do have the money and you're around the place and you like the band, pick up a physical copy. I mean, they're not dead yet. They're still selling them, and they're still available to people who want them. Like, I'm always talking to bands online and asking them, hey, can I get a physical copy of this? Are you not only just doing digital buys on Bandcamp or SoundCloud or Reverb Nation or wherever you're selling your digital music from? I hope physical copies, like CDs, never die. Like, they never go out of print and stuff like that. It just should be a natural, tactile thing that you want to get your hands on the music you love, not just download it and throw it in your earbuds and that's the end of the day. Call it maybe obsession with music, call it maybe a little bit of a collector's hoarder mentality, but I've got hundreds and hundreds of CDs. Some of them might be packed up, some of them I might not touch in a year or 2 or whatever, but I'm still happy they're there, happy I've collected them, happy I've paid my dues and supported the bands that I love listening to, and I believe everyone should. One last thing, I want to say that even though Stop at Nothing didn't have your classics like Kill Your Mother, Rape Your Dog, or Pissing in the Mainstream, or anything of that nature of the earlier on stuff, it was still a good crossover from early era Dying Fetus to new era Dying Fetus. And some people might say there's not much of a big difference, but you know what? Go back and listen to Purification Through Violence, or their re-release of their demos, the Infatuation with Malevolence re-release of their 2 demos. Listen to that, and then listen to the Stop at Nothing. You'll see a huge difference in probably A, production value, and B, just how far they've grown and how awesome they got. I mean, they may not have their same old, like, really, really guttural kind of underground kind of vocals and sound that they had in Purification Through Violence, or the Infatuation with Malevolence demo days, but they have the new modern crushing kind of slam technical death metal feel, and it's amazing. Like, John Gallagher's vocals are sick. The guitarist for this album, which happens to be not Sean Beasley, that's the bassist for this album, Mike Kimball, his guitaring, amazing. Like, it's blows me out of the water for sure. Like, I need to maybe learn some of these guys' tabs or something, because it's fantastic. Anywho, that's it for this album review of Dying Fetus's Stop at Nothing. If I'm going to give it a rating out of 10, this would definitely be a solid 8.5 out of 10 for Dying Fetus and their genre in general. Really good album. Definitely pick it up if you have the chance, and if you're into Dying Fetus. If Dying Fetus, for whatever reason, isn't your taste, move along. Find something you do like. There's oodles of other types of death metal and slam and whatever out there that you could probably enjoy. I see a lot of you dudes, not probably who I'm looking at right now, but whoever else swings by this channel and checks us out, who love to be elitist and think they know everything about metal and just kind of come into the comments and just totally rip whoever's playing on their YouTube a new asshole. And it's not necessary. If you don't like the music and you don't have anything, particularly helpful to say about it, move on. Get out of here. Next video. Click. There's no reason to stick around and annoy the fans of the band that are going to be watching this video and commenting and sharing their ideas. It's not useful. You're being a troll, aka a dick, for no reason. I'm sure you think it's hilarious. And, there's a time and place for, trolling dicketry, but not on people's music videos, not on stuff that people love to listen to and share their thoughts and feelings on their desired musical taste. For you to come there and be like, oh, this band sucks, their vocals sound like somebody's taking a shit into a can and recording it, or this band's vocal sounds like a frog because I can't understand it. First of all, I'm going to get into a little bit more of a rant, and I apologize, but the reason why their vocals sound like that and they're not clean vocals is because at that time it's more of an instrument than it is decipherability. They don't give a shit if you can understand what they're saying in that point. They don't care if you think they sound like a frog or farts in a can. The bands that do this music don't care. Neither do their fans. They don't give a shit if you think they sound like that, because that's what they listen to, that's what they like to listen to, and that's what they buy. They go out and spend money to hear these people who you think are taking a fart into a can and recording it, or sound like frogs, or burping. And like I said, at that point, it's not supposed to be decipherable or sound clean. Vocal-wise, it's supposed to be more of an instrument, and you're using your gutturals and your throat and your diaphragm to match the feeling of the rest of the instruments. And if you want to know what they're saying, there's probably a booklet inside of the jewel case that you can read the lyrics to. Not that hard, people. Come on. Like, you've got better things to do in life besides trolling people on YouTube about their music. Anyways, that's my end of that rant and my second album review. Jesse Morgan, Pitchfork Penetration, my new band Mauled to the Marrow, just recapping all that, even though you've probably heard it twice before already. Signing off, stay brutal.